Hello friends, this video on waves part 5 is brought to you by examfear.com. No more fear from exam. Please make sure that you have watched all the videos till part 4 before going ahead with part 5. Now let us look at yet another way of classification of waves. As I told you before also that there are different parameters on the basis of which waves are classified. So the first parameter was the direction of wave propagation with respect to the direction of disturbance. Now the second parameter would be the motion of the wave as a whole. So again we have two classifications, that is traveling wave and standing wave. So how are these waves classified? What do you think? Of course, as the name suggests, one is a traveling wave, that means a wave which travels, and the other one is a standing wave, that is a wave which doesn't travel. It looks like stationary. So depending upon whether a wave moves from one point to another or not, we classify waves into two types. Traveling wave, which is also known as progressive wave. So traveling wave is also known as progressive wave. Standing wave, which is also known as stationary wave. So we will talk about traveling wave as well as stationary wave in detail. So first we will concentrate on traveling wave. So what is a traveling wave? Wave which travels from one point to another. You must be thinking, what is this? A wave will obviously travel from one point to another. So that should mean that all the waves which we see around us is a traveling wave. You are right. Most of the waves which you come across or which you see around yourselves are all fall under the category of traveling waves. But there is another category contrary to this, that is standing waves, which I will discuss later. So traveling waves means the wave travels from one point to another. Here I am talking only about the wave propagation. I am not talking about the movement of the particles of the medium. So as I also mentioned before, traveling waves are also known as progressive wave because they progress from one point to another. Both transverse and longitudinal waves can be traveling. So both the waves, that is transverse waves as well as longitudinal waves, they can be considered as a traveling wave because in both the waves we see that the wave moves from one point to another. So the wave propagates from one point to another. So we can see a displacement along the horizontal direction. So we say that they can be classified as traveling waves. Let us look at these examples. Just have a look at this wave. What do you find? You see that the wave is traveling towards right. So that is a traveling wave where the wave as a whole looks to be moving along one direction. So similarly, if you consider the longitudinal wave, here also you see that the wave as a whole is moving along the horizontal towards right. Now that I have discussed about some of the types of waves, not all yet, because we are still left with standing waves. Standing waves is something which we will discuss in the second half of the chapter, basically, because the concept of standing waves is quite different than all these waves. So basically, in the first half of the chapter, we will discuss only about the different properties of waves, the different parameters or the different terms which you should know related to waves. We will talk about traveling waves. We will talk about transverse as well as longitudinal waves. So once we are done with that, then we will get into standing waves. So now, before we go into further detail, let us look at the various terms related to a wave. Correct? Whenever we discuss any concept, we have certain terms related to it. For example, thank you. Please visit examfear.com to watch free educational videos, try free online tests, get the best quality study materials, study from the best tutors and mentors, and much more. Thank you once again.